What are you afraid of? Why are you feeling the need to control everything? Well, I'm Teresa Lysam, and I'm going to help you release some of that feeling of having to control it all. So stick around. So I'm Teresa Lysam. I'm an essential emotions coach, and I'm going to walk you through the process of using an essential oil to release an emotion, in this case, the emotion of control or need to control, and help you create a new experience that's going to be lighter and freer and more positive. And I just want you to know that smell is the fastest way to affect mood. Did you know that? Our sense of smell is like the most powerful sense. And in my opinion, we kind of dismiss it, but it affects our mood and our emotions very, very quickly. We smell an essential oil, we bring it in through our nose into our olfactory system. It goes over to the limbic center where our emotions and our memories are stored. And that starts a chemical reaction that can occur within 60 to 90 seconds that can cascade through the entire rest of your body, that have, an immediate effect on the decisions you make. And we can also use those. So we're going to use an essential oil to release an emotion. And then we're going to use that same essential oil to anchor a new emotion, a new way of being and thinking. It's going to help interrupt any old emotional response patterns and help create new neural pathways to help retrain your brain to respond in healthier ways to stressful and emotionally charged situations. So essential oils have a direct impact on the deepest levels of our mind, our body, and our soul. So let's dig right in. Please, I suggest you get into a nice quiet room where you can be by yourself. Grab some cilantro. We're using cilantro oil today. If you don't have cilantro, I just have to smell it because cilantro is one of my favorite. If you don't have cilantro, you could substitute, let me find it, wintergreen, cypress, cinnamon, cardamom. And if you're a doTERRA enthusiast, the peace blend. Now, if you have none of those, no worries. You can still walk through this process with me. You can grab any essential oil you have in your space and use that as a substitute. We can also use our imagination. We can call in the frequency and the energy of cilantro. So whichever you have available, I invite you to go ahead and get it prepared now and grab something to write on, some device or some paper that you can jot down thoughts, images, ideas, ways that you're feeling, just to help you remember. And I just want to remind you or let you know while you're doing that, that I am not a mental health professional. I'm not a therapist. I'm not a counselor. I'm not a fixer. I'm merely a guide and a partner on this journey to claiming your wholeness and your emotional freedom. So we're partners in this process. I'm holding space for you with loving kindness and compassion in my heart as you move through this process. So you're here to release unwanted emotions so you can find and retrieve the answers that are within you and the solutions that are within you. So today we're going to be working on the emotion or the whole concept of controlling. And our oil of choice today is cilantro, as I already said, cilantro. Again, it's one of my favorite. I love cilantro. And let me tell you a little bit about the cilantro oil and the emotional benefit. So cilantro is the oil of releasing control. It actually is really good at detoxing negative emotions and debris. It's helpful in lightening one's load through the release of issues that are buried in the body, the heart, the soul. And it assists us in shedding what is not in harmony with our true self. Those who need cilantro may attempt to obsessively control other people or manage their environment. And inwardly, these individuals may experience a great deal of worry or mental strain. This may cause them to become constricted, clinging to or obsessing over material possessions or whatever. These individuals may hold on to the very patterns, emotions, issues, and possessions that may impair or betray their true self. So cilantro is going to facilitate emotional cleansing and especially encourages the release of worry and control as it helps us really come to center in our true self. Cilantro liberates our soul from heavy burdens, allowing us to live light and free. Some other emotions that a cilantro can help with. We already mentioned controlling, so I'm going to be referring to controlling, but you can also use the word constricted, obsessive, compulsive, clingy, worried, trapped. So I'll let you decide which word you're going to go with. I'm going to go with controlling. So let's take a deep breath. If you had anything that resonated with you in what I just talked about with cilantro, I hope you wrote it down, because I'm going to ask you to close your eyes. And can you locate where this emotion is in your body right now? Just scan your body, see if you can notice anything. Do you notice any heaviness? Any shape that it might have? Are you noticing that it might have a color or a texture? Maybe it's bumpy or sharp, jaggedy, sticky. Maybe it even has a sound. Is it solid or fuzzy, wispy, hazy? Just what are you noticing? And if you're not noticing anything, that's okay too. There is no right or wrong way to do this process. I'm going to ask you some questions, and you're welcome to jot them down, anything that comes to you as I ask these questions. So, what am I afraid of? What is preventing me from trusting that all will work out as it should? What are you afraid of? What's preventing you from trusting that all will work out as it should? You're welcome to jot those down. Come back to them later, process them more, journal them out, or just have it in your head. So we kind of tried to find where that feeling of controlling, the need to control, is in your body. And again, if you did not notice that anywhere, that's okay too. But we all need to expend energy to keep that emotion, that feeling in our body, wherever it is. It actually takes energy to do that. So I'm going to ask you, are you ready to release and let go now? So I'm going to give you some things to repeat to yourself. Have your cilantro or your substitute oil handy. We're going to use that here momentarily. Okay. But I'm going to invite you to, if you want to close your eyes, feel free to close your eyes. I choose to release this feeling of the need to control. With all of its negative attachments and hold on me. I now hand it over to the divine for transformation and healing. I'm going to repeat that one more time. I choose to release this feeling, this sense of needing to control with all of its negative attachments and hold on me. I now hand it over to the divine for transformation and healing. And see yourself releasing this need to control. Visualize it floating out of you, higher and higher, taking all of its attachments with it. Maybe it's in some balloons that are releasing from you. Maybe it's some bubbles that are coming from your ears or the top of your head, and they're taking all of the attachments of that need to control with it. Feel yourself becoming lighter and lighter and more free as that sense, that need to control leaves your body, your mind, your spirit. See it completely taken away and dissolved by the divine. And this is where I'm going to ask you to inhale your cilantro, either from the bottle or put a drop in your hand, rub your hands together, and then just cup right around your chin area or a little higher. Take 3 deep breaths and exhale fully. So that cilantro just helped us release that sense of control. How do you feel now? Are you ready for a new experience now? Yay! Let's now replace that and train our brain to react differently in a new way. So I'm going to offer you some declarations or some affirmations, whatever you want to call them. And you're welcome to close your eyes again and repeat after me out loud or just in your head. I'm going to repeat it several times. Keep your cilantro handy. I can now accept that all things work out for my greatest good. I can now trust that this event will help me on my path. I can now accept that all things work out for my greatest good. I can now trust that this experience will help me on my path. I'm going to repeat it one more time. I can now accept that all things work out for my greatest good. I can now trust that this situation will help me on my path. And feel free to reword that any way that you want. Go ahead and grab your cilantro or your substitute oil, or imagine that you have that cilantro in your hands and you're breathing in that energy of it. You're breathing in that frequency of cilantro. Just use your imagination. And see yourself laying down the defenses you have been holding on to, and then step into grace. See yourself lay down the defenses that you've been holding on to and step into grace. See yourself laying down your defenses, unclenching them, letting them go. You've been holding on to them a long time. Now is your opportunity to let them go. And then give yourself the opportunity to step into grace. Smell that cilantro, breathe it in. Really anchor in this new way of thinking and being. And just enjoy. Enjoy that aroma of whatever oil you have. Enjoy that imaginary aroma if you don't have any oils. Just know that that vibration and that frequency of cilantro is working for you. Now I'm going to ask you a question. Can you offer yourself compassion, self-forgiveness, and understanding for what you just learned as we went through this process? I know you can. Do you know you can? Can you give yourself permission to be compassionate for yourself? Now, part of this process is really taking good care of ourselves afterward. So we just released that need for control. Then we just anchored in a new way of thinking, a new visualization, a new declaration. And our body needs to assimilate that. So we really need to take really good care of ourselves the rest of this day into tomorrow, maybe 2 days from now. We should be taking good care of ourselves every day, but especially now after we've gone through this process. So what self-care and nurturing activity can you do for yourself? I'm going to give you some suggestions, but you choose whatever ones you want, and please jot them down on in your notes. We really want you to hydrate. Hydration is important after this process. Movement is really important after this process. So move, stretch, dance, take a walk. Out in nature would be awesome. Jump around. Play with your dog. But really move. That's really important. You can take a nap, like give yourself some extra rest today. You can take a bath with some Epsom salts. If you really want to, you can take your cilantro, put a few drops in that Epsom salt, and then sprinkle that in your bath water. I'm only suggesting that for cilantro today. You can meditate. You can journal. You can do some yoga, whatever floats your boat. Now, your transformation and your breakthrough process will continue from this point forward into the future. You may get added insights, experience some other emotions that might surface in the days ahead, maybe even the weeks ahead. Everybody's different. This is normal and expected. So, what are your next action steps? We know you're going to take good care of yourself. You already jotted that down. Make that commitment to yourself. What can your action steps be to set you on that path, that more positive path of letting go, releasing, setting down those things that you've been keeping up as a defense? Do you need to reach out for support to somebody, a trusted person in your life, and talk with them, share the experience with them? Do you need to establish some boundaries around something? Do you need to forgive yourself or somebody else? Jot that down on your paper, whatever you feel you need to do to help move you farther into this healing journey. And you can always come back and think more about this. Some people need to process it for a longer period of time than we have right here. So once we're done here, take all the time you need to process, journal, write all this down. Think about it. What can get in your way? So you have the self-care steps that you're going to do. You have an action step of what you're going to do to move you forward in the healing process. What happens when things get in your way? Let's be proactive and make a plan now. What's going to happen when you get distracted, interrupted, your kids pull you in one direction than you wanted to go? How can you be proactive and make a plan that's going to help you get around those obstacles and hold true to yourself and your own commitment as you move through this healing journey? Then I want to ask you, what has been the most powerful learning piece for you in this process? What have you learned? What's your biggest takeaway? And again, jot it down, come back to it if you have to. Because right now I'm going to invite you to put your one hand or your both hands on your heart and thank yourself for showing up and doing this work. Thank yourself. The more we work on ourselves, the more ripple effect we have out into the world, and the more we're contributing to the healing of the world. So it's important that we work on ourselves, and I applaud you for doing that. So thank yourself, applaud yourself, celebrate yourself. Now, we already said that healing is a journey, and you can actually come back to this process and do this on your own. I will put the visualization and the affirmations in the description with this video. You have your oil. If you can get the cilantro, even better. But you can come back and do this again in the short version. Just open up your bottle, smell your cilantro, read your affirmations, visualize. So repeat this process as many times as you need to. And just know that you're divinely supported, you're divinely guided, and you can trust the power within you to transform and to heal. And I want to thank you. That wraps up today's session. It's been an honor to be here and to walk you through this process. Feel free to connect with me. Leave a comment, subscribe, follow me on Facebook, follow me on YouTube. Let me know what emotion you would like me to walk you through next. If you want a private session that is more specific to you, I'd be happy to do that as well. Thank you, my friends.